Good day. My name is Sean Donahue and I'm reporting from Manning Field in Lynn, Mass. Not too long ago, erected here was Manning Bowl, and I think that whole structure really flicked the flame to the football tradition here in Lynn, Mass. In this special, you guys can expect to go through some of the high schools, learn about their football reputations, talk to some of the coaches and captains, along with some other football personalities here in Lynn, Mass. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
The Lynn football tradition goes back over a span of 100 years. The English Classical Thanksgiving Day game dates back to 1911, and it's here where the rivalry begins. Many historic gridiron battles were played on Locust Street at Manning Bowl in Lynn. The Manning Bowl history starts with President Roosevelt and his Work Progress Administration. In 1936, President Roosevelt puts Lynn men and women to work constructing the city of Lynn's first new football stadium. Completed in 1937, the stadium stood until 2004. Construction of the massive concrete structure would cost over $500,000 to build, and when finished, the stadium would seat over 20,000 fans. Better known to Lynn locals as the Bowl, Manning Bowl would soon be the venue for many great games, events, memories, and home to some of Lynn's greatest athletes. The first Thanksgiving game held at the Bowl was actually played mid-construction of Manning Bowl in 1937. English would win the first and last of the games played at the Bowl. In the 1940s, Classical's Harry Guinness would regularly draw large crowds, a number usually reaching around 20,000, which was the Bowl's capacity. In 1948, Lynn became the first city in the nation to televise their football games. Over the years, Classical, English, St. Mary's, and Tech alike all participated in epic football games, which would help shape the football tradition here in Lynn. Each team takes pride in football tradition and celebrates the days leading to the games by showing school pride, and each hold a pep rally before the game.
Football players, really special nightclub. They'd love to see you there. Remember, 7 o'clock, Manning Field.
We sat down with John Hoffman, local sports announcer and talk show host, to get his personal football history and hear him reflect on football in the city of Lynn.
Well, I started way back when I first used to cover football games when my brother and my father worked for newspapers, and I would call in the Herald, the Globe, the Item, different papers, and I would go to games and cover games, and then later on I get into the announcing part of it. It's actually a funny story. I was sitting at home and watching on the couch, and I would say to the guy on TV, he would make a statement, I'd say, no, that was wrong, it should have been this, and my wife said, why don't you do that? And I said, well, next time ESPN or NBC calls, tell them I'm available. And she made a phone call when she saw it on, it was Warner Cable back then. She saw an ad saying, if you'd like to do play-by-play of color, call this number. So I come home one day and she said, they want you to do the Classical Sagas football game at Old Manning Bowl. And I thought she was crazy, but I went. Ray McQuiggan was the play-by-play guy. I did color, and I thought that was it, because I thought I did one game and that would be my career, and I could say I did something a lot of people would like to do. But they kept calling me back, and from that, through osmosis, I've been doing it ever since, now almost going on almost 30 years. Well, it's not hard to have a passion when you're dealing with young kids and you're watching them perform. And you know, I used to coach CYO basketball, and I would see my CYO kids now performing in high school, whether it was on the court or on the field, baseball, softball, basketball, football, even hockey. So it wasn't hard to have a passion for sports and for football, and to watch the kids that I knew growing up. And I coached. It's funny, I used to say I coached this kid in CYO basketball, and now I'd say I coached this kid's father. Now I'm saying I coached this kid's grandfather in CYO basketball. So it's easy to have a passion when you know the people and you're associated with the community, and you like to see the Lynn teams do well, and we've had a lot of teams do extremely well. Well, especially now with Thanksgiving coming up, the tradition is like, it's really outstanding. You get to this game and it becomes, this is a playoff game. Although this year English is in the playoffs, they won a big game against North Andover, but St. Mary's got nipped, they're not going to playoffs. Lynn Tech got nipped, they're not going to the vocational, but now they still have something to fall back on. Thanksgiving, it brings everybody back, former players, students, coaches, parents, former members of St. Mary's High School, Tech, English, Classical, all come back on Thanksgiving Day. The alumni all come back. It's a big family day, but it's also a big football day because it brings everybody back to their roots. It brings back, all the stories become, the 10-yard touchdown runs become 50-yard touchdown runs, and the home runs become 400-foot. I struck out 20 instead of striking out 4, and everybody kind of tells those sports lies that they tell, but it's fun. Everybody gets together, and you see people that you haven't seen in years, and that makes a big difference in the community with people that you know and love. The lifeblood is the kids are now learning to tackle and block, and they're working teamwork and responsibility, and they're learning that now at a very early age and carrying it on, and they're getting some very good coaches through Papuana and in high school and beyond, and they're getting a lot of lessons learned, making a lot of friendships, and I think the lifeblood is not the wins and losses, but it's the friendships and the people you meet, and people you play football with and people you play other sports with become friends of yours, and they're friends for life. You get to see them. You don't get to see them on as much of a regular basis as you would like, but every once in a while you run in, stories are told, and brings back great memories. And I think the lifeblood is just that, the camaraderie of the sport. Well, when you talk about philosophies in football, and I don't know if I have one. I don't coach. I just sit up and I second guess, and I look afterwards and say, I make myself look good, because everybody can be a Monday morning quarterback and say, I wouldn't have done that, I would have done this. But I think my philosophy would be just what I think the coaches are doing now. Teach these kids that there's a lot more than football. One of the things is, it's nice that they have to be a student, that they have to pass in school. And I've seen so many young kids who think that they can skate through, and when it comes time, they look to go on to college, and they can't go because they don't have the marks. They didn't follow through, or they dropped out of school, and it's a tragedy. I think that's the big thing, that the kids are now learning that it's no longer, if I get out of high school, I can go get a job and have a good life. You have to get that college education, and sports can do that for you. It can be a big opening of doors for you, and you can get in and do things, but you have to get those marks. You have to be a student, and that's why they put student before athlete. When English plays classical on Thanksgiving Day, and by the way, this is the 100th anniversary of English and classical. It's not the 100th game, because there was a game in between when they combined the teams, but this is the 100th anniversary. And these kids now playing for English and classical, they've played with and against each other. They've traveled on AAU teams. They played soccer, they played football, they played basketball, baseball, hockey. They play with and against each other. And this will be the last time that they do this for their high school as far as football is concerned. And it'll be the last time they wear the uniform. And they should go out and do whatever they can to make themselves proud, their parents, the school, the city. And they do that each and every year. They go out and they play extremely hard. At the end of the game, they shake hands, and there are friendships that are formed, as I mentioned before, not only for the kids you play with, but the kids you play against. It's a great opportunity for these kids not only to become athletes and remember their time in school, and remember what they did and how they did it. Nobody wins. Everybody doesn't win their last game. Half the teams lose their last game. So the wins and losses are forgotten. Obviously, we've had our share. Lynn has certainly had their great share of great players. I mean, you go back to the great Harry Aganis, Mecca Simorowski, who some people think was the best player, as opposed to Harry being the best player. But Harry, of course, is head and shoulders above everybody. But Boldy Dancer has played, and Tippy Johnson and his father, Lon Johnson, played. There were great family ties everybody. Peter Pedro never got to play in a Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving Eve game, but you know, he still was a tremendous player. Timmy Frazier was the first freshman that ever played, and I think he scored either 3 or 4 touchdowns and became the high scorer as a freshman. You go back to 1990 when Chris Warren, they played games 2 years in a row where the Block-Sidge bomb was English was undefeated, and they fumbled the ball, and Swampscott threw a big pass the last play of the game and won the game. They came back the following year, and English 1990 had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The last play scored a touchdown. They went to the Super Bowl. There was a game, English and Classical, the one meaningful game on Thanksgiving Day where it meant the Super Bowl. Classical had all those great athletes. They played English. Dickie Newton was the quarterback in English. They were driving for a score. Dickie Newton got his bell rung, had to come out of the game. They fumbled a snap. Classical got the ball, scored. They won it. Classical went to the Super Bowl, knocking English off. So that was one of the very meaningful games back on Thanksgiving. But Thanksgiving Eve turned around. St. Mary's always played Bishop Fenwick at Fenwick on Thanksgiving Day, and they always played on the road. Ray McDermott was the coach at St. Mary's and said, "Why can't we play home games?" They didn't want them to play. They used to put hay down to cover the field up until the morning of the Thanksgiving game for English and Classical. They talked the city into letting them play Thanksgiving Eve, and every other year they would play the night before. And then St. Mary's transferred over to the Commonwealth Conference League under Mike Stellato, and they started playing, which we have now, which is great for the city, having 4 Lynn schools playing the night before and the day of Thanksgiving. It allows everybody in the city to see all 4 Lynn schools, and the players from the night before can see the game of, and the day of can see the night before. So it makes for a very great Thanksgiving time. Well, yeah, obviously the big ones are English and Classical, and as you go back, as I mentioned, with Aganis and Mecca Simorowski and Boley Dancewitz, and Lynn Tech was a much smaller school. Lynn Tech used to play Northeast the Saturday before Thanksgiving. They had no Thanksgiving game. As I mentioned, St. Mary's was always on the road. St. Mary's the smaller of the school. So the big day was always Thanksgiving with English and Classical. And there were a lot of great, great athletes, and English and Classical was always the game. That's what it was, the game on Thanksgiving. But slowly but surely, Tech and St. Mary's catching up with that Thanksgiving Eve and playing big games themselves. So the tradition has been great, the following has been terrific, and the fans have an awful lot to look forward to Thanksgiving Day, and then go home and have a great meal afterwards.
After multiple attempts over the years to bring the stadium back to usable condition, Manning Bowl would close its gates for the last time in 2004. The last 2 games played in Manning Bowl were the traditional St. Mary's Tech Thanksgiving Eve game and the Classical English Thanksgiving Day game. The city of Lynn built upon the former site a new multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art facility and named it Manning Field. The memories and histories of the old bowl will never be forgotten, but today's batch of players from the 4 high schools aim to make new memories and etch their names into the fabric of Lynn's football history.
As we get ready to kick off for Thanksgiving, we want to take some time to acknowledge these guys and get to know them a little bit more. We'll start off with John.
My name is John Finnegan. I play quarterback here at Lynn Classical.
Oh, hi. I'm Malcolm Lynn King, cornerback, number 6.
Hi, my name is Calvin Abishua, number 12, linebacker in Classical High School.
My name is Rudolph Thomas Collingmore. Call me Rudy. I play running back for Classical, 34.
I'm Mike Dwyer. I'm number 50. I play center and D-end, and I'm looking forward to this game.
My name is Jimmy Assad. I'm number 10. I play linebacker. I'm looking forward to get this W.
My name is Corey Moreau. I'm number 35 and 34, and I'm a linebacker, and I look forward to this game. It's one of the biggest games of my life.
My name is Eric Coley. I'm a wide receiver and defensive end. Waiting for this game my whole life, and I can't wait.
Brendan?
I'm Brendan Holy. I'm number 77. I play left tackle, tight end, and defensive end. And I've been waiting my whole life to play this game, but I can't right now because I'm hurt. But can't wait to watch it, cheer my team on.
PJ Dorsey, running back, outside linebacker, ready to get this win on Thanksgiving.
I'm Jefferson Flores. I'm 57. I play offensive and defensive line, and I've been preparing for this game my whole life.
Guy, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your numbered position, where you plan on going to school.
My name is Guy Sampson. I play tight end, DN. My number is 88. Next year, I plan to either play at a D2 college or a D3. It doesn't matter. Just want to keep on playing football.
My name is Jonathan Capano. I'm number 10. I play quarterback. I'm looking to go to Bentley. I'm not sure if I'm playing any sports. And besides Bentley, I'm looking at Bryant University.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. Todd?
My name is Todd Collier. I'm a running back and safety. After high school, I'm looking at PG year or either going straight into college, but I'm not really sure yet.
My name's Andrew Olson. I'm a tight end and D-end, number 80, and I'm looking to go to BU, major in pre-med.
Why don't we start off with some introductions? We'll start off with you, sir.
Hello, my name is Jacob Devaney, senior linebacker at LynnCAM, number 55. Ready to go to war against St. Mary's.
Yeah, I'm Jeremy, senior number 50. I play D-end and ready for the game.
Jeremy, thanks. Joel?
Hi, I'm Joel Devaney, senior safety of LynnCAM, and I'm hoping for a good fight from St. Mary's.
My name is Kennedy Gomes, a junior. I'm a quarterback, number 10, and I'm also free safety.
What can Lynn expect? What can Lynn expect from Thanksgiving Day football this year?
Just a great, dangerous game. Like, you know, we all know each other. I know almost everybody on the English roster, and I'm pretty sure everybody from English knows us. And we're all friends. You know, we talk on the off season. We're all friends. So it's fun to play against your friend, but you also want to get a W. That's why I say it's kind of a dangerous game, because we're going at each other so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you put your life on the line every play, right? You prepare your body for battle. John, what would you say? You're the quarterback. You're the leader of this team. What can Lynn expect from this year's game? Why should we go out and watch it?
Very, very exciting game. You have a bunch of kids that, we're friends off the field, but we can be all huggy and kissy. But on the field, we want to kill each other.
Fair enough.
We want nothing else to beat English. We win one game all season to beat English.
It's going to be a big game, and this game brings the whole city together, and it's good competition.
So a big part of Thanksgiving here in Lynn is really the fan base. Is that's the real lifeblood behind football. Along with the parents and the players, friends of the players and cousins, there are a lot of people who are still Lynn citizens and don't know people on the teams, and they still come out and support Tech and St. Mary's and English and Classical, which is a really good thing. But what can we tell the fans? What can they expect from this year's game? Todd, why don't we start with you?
Fans pretty much come for a good show. They like to come. They're amped about us playing. Like to see St. Mary's win. Supporters, we go out there for our supporters and get it done for each other.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're a strong team. We're a strong team too. We're looking forward. We both got a pretty decent record. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna give them our best. Hopefully they give us their best. It should be a good game.
Jonathan, you're the quarterback for St. Mary's. I understand you guys have a lot of focus on running the ball, but along with that, you've been passing it as well. What do you think the keys to winning this game are going to be?
Keys for us are always not turning the ball over on offense, and defense just has to play physical. If we take care of that, we should be fine. Tech's a really good team, and we're going to have a challenge set out for us, but we should be fine if we take care of what we need to take care of.
Okay. Now, Todd, you're the running back here. You play safety, so you really have to be an anchor on both ends of the ball, which can be tough, and especially in high school, it's good because you get that experience and you learn how to do that. But what are you expecting from LynnCAM? What really have you guys prepared for, and what are you looking forward to most of all?
Offensively, just hope to go out there and do what we have to get done. Defensively, we're looking at the pass game. Of course, we've played them multiple times over the years. We just hope to go out there, get the job done, and do what we have to do.
All right, keeping it humble, a humble player with a humble team. Joel, you've been here for 4 years. You've played St. Mary's 4 times. Tell us about the rivalry.
LynnCAM and St. Mary's, that's one of the biggest games that I've ever played in for my 4 years here, besides the 2 years ago, the vocational Super Bowl. But the rivalry is the biggest thing that comes for LynnCAM and for St. Mary's come together. When we play each other, it's like we go out there, bang heads, and then we come back and we're still all, after the game, we're all friends, and it's a really good rivalry. It's a big matchup for Lynn Tech and St. Mary's.
Now, anything you guys are anticipating the Bulldogs to throw at you specifically? I understand that not only practice is important, but getting in the weight room, watching film, making sure that you know your opponent just as well as you know your own self. What are you guys going to expect English to throw at you this game? Why don't we start with you, sir?
I expect last year, I played in Thanksgiving game last year, so they like to run a lot of short routes depending on the where the sticks are. But other than that, they like to beat you long. Like, they'll go deep on you if you're sleeping.
Okay.
They'll just hit you.
Fair enough. So, I mean, English is, everybody knows that English has a great reputation for having some good quarterbacks, a lot of good receivers. So those guys, they do a lot of preparation. They run their routes too. So, you know, in football, both teams are going to make plays. It's really how you react.
I'd like to ask you a little bit about what you're preparing for, what you're ready for Classical to throw at you, and what you've done to prepare.
Well, we know Classical's gonna come. They're gonna come out strong because they got nothing to look forward to. They're trying to beat us, so we just gotta prepare hard.
So, Andrew, you've been playing football here for 4 years. You know, I know that you have a pretty close relationship with the coaches here and the players as well. But could you give us a little bit of insight? Tell us really about some of what's your fondest memory being a football player here at St. Mary's?
To be honest, it probably has to be hanging out with my teammates. I love every one of them, and it's like a family atmosphere, and we just show up to play.
Yeah, that seems to be a reoccurring trend, and you know, it's something that you thought was lost in football. And I'm glad to hear that a lot of the kids today are playing to have fun, not only to win and go to school and all that too, but you can learn a lot from this whole sport. You're all seniors. You've all played at Classical for 4 years. John, what would be your most fondest memory here at Lynn Classical?
My most fondest memory at Classical would be the Gloucester game my junior year. We lost the game, but it was probably the funnest game I've ever played in.
You know, it's interesting you say that because people look at me like I'm crazy. You're playing games, you're playing Super Bowls, you're playing playoffs, and you lose. And at the end of it, you got guys who will cry and you got guys who will pout and slam things. But if you've had fun in that game, there's really nothing else that, you know, other than a W that can make it much better than that. So, I mean, coming out and playing this game is really why we're here. Of course, W's are what we're after, but this game is it's a magical game, and it really can come down to that. It's just a matter or not whether you had fun.
So, coming into this game, you've been playing football here for English for 4 years. I would assume most of you guys would be. So this game's got to mean something to you. You've played in 3 of them before. You might have been on the sidelines or in the stands. But give us a gist of how the football tradition here in Lynn really affects you and how you really feel about English football. Why don't we start with you?
The tradition, it's been going on for a while. This is about the 100th anniversary, so I feel pretty good about it. It's a pretty big deal in Lynn, so.
What have you guys done to prepare for this game? How do you feel going into it? Are you confident? What are you looking forward to?
I think we're very confident in this game. We prepared a lot. We just watch film and all that and make sure we're all ready, everyone's on the same page. And
Excellent, excellent. So good to hear that you guys are on task, and so far so good. It does look like we're going to have a great game between Tech and St. Mary's.
So I want to talk a little bit about how you guys feel about going into the game, if you feel confident, what you're worried about. Rudy, why don't we start with you?
Look, I'm pretty confident myself. Just going in the game, just all we got to do is play and have fun.
Okay. Now, John, so that's a good thing. It's a great mentality to have going into a game. His confidence is huge in football. John, you're the quarterback of this team. Everybody knows in football that you got to lead us all to victory. So, what would you say are going to be the keys to winning this game?
Well, we got to play good team defense, and we got to put some points up because they can really score.
Excellent.
They have a very good offense, and they've won the NEC, so they're a good team.
Now, Brendan, I know you're injured, and you know, it shows great leadership that you're out here and that you're actually you want to be on the sidelines, cheer your team on, and that shows character. And in football, character is one of the hardest things to achieve because it's not like you can go to the weight room and get it. Tell us how you feel about Lynn English football and where it holds a special place in your heart.
I don't know. I mean, Lynn English football. I mean, my whole family, like everyone in my entire family, like every single year, like everyone I've ever met, you know, they all go to Lynn English High School. It's like a tradition almost. Just means a lot to me. And I don't know. I mean, just with your family behind and stuff, you know, you want to be here. You just want to like make your family proud, make your community proud, and that kind of stuff. I mean, I just love like playing for this team and stuff, you know.
So this football tradition runs pretty deep in Lynn, and it goes back way back before our time. And when you guys get older, you'll look into it a little bit more, and you realize what it does mean to some of the people here in Lynn. But you know, it's always good to know from a younger guy's perspective what their favorite aspects of football are. You know, what do they enjoy about the game? So I'll reserve that question for you, Kennedy.
I mean, I definitely, you know, I love hitting, even though I'm a quarterback. You know, hitting, teamwork, you know, working together to accomplish one thing. Because you got to work together to do it, you know, get the W. You can't do it by yourself. Basically.
Excellent. So that's all well here, and it's not typically you get a quarterback who wants to bang helmets either. So I'm sure Coach Run is very happy to have you on the sidelines. I know pregame rituals are big amongst football players today. I'm a superstitious guy. I still play football. I've been doing it since Pop Warner. Do you have any pregame rituals that you do?
Go home, take a nap, work out. When I get back up,
okay,
get ready, come back here.
I'm like a put my left shoe on my foot first kind of guy, then my right shoe on. What about you, Rudy? Anything?
I go home and I make my mother make me hot dogs, and she always has to make me hot dogs every Friday. I don't know why. It's just weird. I have to eat hot dogs.
And you get those locks in place so everybody knows you're looking good, right?
So Gishad, you know, you play some defense, you play some offense. You know, you're right up there. You're on the D line, you're on the O line, you're smashing heads all day. Before you go out there, though, do you have any pregame rituals?
Pre-game rituals, I'd say I listen to music that amps me up, that gets me going. I just listen to music.
Most of the time, our pregame ritual is as we getting dressed, getting ready, and everything. You know what we do. Usually we like just blast the music, whatever it may be. And before the game, usually we go in the locker room and just shut the lights off, close the door, and everyone's, well, we're gonna say something, we just say it, get everyone pumped, ready for the game.
I basically get everything ready before the game and listen to music, try to pay attention to what I got to get done and what I have to do before the game and everything. So,
Jacob?
Honestly, I'm kind of on the same track as him. I listen to music, just get my mind right, get all the drama out of my life before the game. And a lot of people on the team might not know this, but a couple people on the team might. But either before the game or during the game, I bring a bottle of apple juice. I don't know why, it's just something I've been doing. I drink apple juice on the sidelines, in and out. When I'm on the field or off the field, I just throw some apple juice in my system. I don't know why, it's a little thing I do. It makes me feel better about myself. So.
You heard it here, folks. Apple juice, key to success. I'm really happy for you guys to come on down. I'm really amped to see you guys play Thanksgiving Eve. You guys should have a great game. You guys have played against some great teams this year. I've watched the games. Overall, a very disciplined team, and looking forward to seeing you. So best of luck, and thanks for the time again. Thank you. Bye, guys. All the best. Thank you so much.
So these guys are obviously ready to kick off for Thanksgiving Day football game against English. I guarantee it's going to be good when they're psyched up, English is psyched up. We'll go around, we'll check in with some of the other schools, and I appreciate you guys coming out. Best of luck. Awesome. All right, we'll do handshakes all around.
Well, guys, thank you for coming down. You guys should have an excellent game Wednesday at 7 o'clock. I know Tech's a great team. St. Mary's is a great team, too. But it sure is to be a bash out there. So best luck to you guys, and have a good practice. Thanks, guys. All right. All the best. Andrew, so tall. Yeah, great speaker. I appreciate you guys coming out and giving us some time. Best of luck. Have a great practice, and go football. All right. Have a good one. Good luck, guys. Good luck, guys. Good luck. The coaching staff is just as an integral part of Lynn's football past as the players are. They understand the importance of the games. They understand the value in discipline. And their jobs in helping shape these youths into the disciplined football players we see on the field today is well done. We're able to sit down with the current head coaches of each high school and get their account on their past of football history in Lynn.
My name is Tim Phelps, head coach Lynn Classical. I graduated from Lynn Classical 2001. From there I went to Norwich University, where I graduated 2005. And immediately after graduating I came back to coaching, and I've been coaching ever since.
I'm Peter Holy. I'm the head football coach at Lynn English High School. I started playing football at East Lynn Pop Warner many years ago, and progressed on to Lynn English and played in all the Thanksgiving games from 1978, 79, and 1980.
I grew up in Lynn. I went to Lynn Classical High School. I ended up coaching there as an assistant and also as a head coach. I've been here at St. Mary's for 4 years.
I played West Lynn Pop-Warner football for 3 years, and then I went to Lynn Classical High School football, and I played there for 4 years. I was a starter as a sophomore, junior, and as a senior, which is actually the first year that Coach Durgan got his head coaching position. And then after that, I went to Dean Junior College, and I was an All-American there as a nose guard for 2 years, and then I played my junior year at AIC, and my senior year I started coaching football.
Tell us about the rivalries here in Lynn, Massachusetts.
It's a special rivalry. I mean, there's a lot of rivalries out there. There's, Beverly Salem that's a little longer than ours. Marblehead Swamps gets a big one. But this one's, I think, a little more special in the fact that these kids grow up together. They're in the same community. They play Little League and youth football together and all this other stuff. So they kind of grow up and, they know each other. They even more recently, they hang out a lot together. So it means a little more, I think, to these kids.
The rivalry between Lynn English and Lynn Classical, I believe, is like no other. It's a fantastic, intense rivalry. The atmosphere is fantastic. And after the game, these kids shake hands. And later on in life, like my experience has been, many of the rivals from Lynn Classical are some of my best friends.
We've got to execute, and we've got to play good defense. I think, if we can slow them down, if we can find a way to slow them down, we can be all right. And we've got to be able to make sure we execute on offense. And in the kicking game, we've got to make sure that we don't hurt ourselves and force them to hurt themselves on the kicking game.
No, but it goes back to Ray McDermott. Ray McDermott had started the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving with Bishop Fenwick, and then because Classical and English had Thursday at Manning Bowl, and Lynn Tech came over and started playing St. Mary's on Wednesday night.
I'm very familiar with the St. Mary's Tech rivalry. I coached at St. Mary's for 4 years prior, to me coming here. And the rivalry itself it's very big. You have two schools that are within 100 yards of each other. And I know that, the kids obviously interact with each other, whether it be at the YMCA or even here on Neptune Street. But the rivalry itself is more bragging rights when it comes to anything, where the kids, they communicate during the summertime, whether it's in parks and recreational games, things like that. And of course, they all chitty-chatter a lot. So obviously the rivalry itself is big, especially amongst the seniors. Obviously, no senior wants to go out of their senior year and lose a Thanksgiving Day game. So I know it's a very, very big rivalry.
What does the Thanksgiving Day football game mean to you?
Well, to me, I mean, it's special. I always tell the kids, you remember the English games more than any other game, and you remember your records more than anything else. And the wins that I got on Thanksgiving, mean a lot to me. And it's kind of a culmination. It's the last game of the year, and it kind of you put a stamp on the year and you say, do we have a good year or do we have a great year because we beat English?
I think, to me, Thanksgiving football in Lynn is a celebration of all of the youth in Lynn, from the cheerleaders to the ROTC to the band and to the football players themselves. It is what is all the best about the youth in Lynn.
Well, we're kind of different than a lot of cities because we have 4 high schools, and they all compete against each other. And St. Mary's and Tech kick off Thanksgiving on Wednesday night, so that's pretty special. We're one of the few teams in the state that do that. And then on Thanksgiving, the traditional classical English game. So it's a nice thing to be able to kick it off.
Well, one thing you guys know about me is I'm a very big traditional guy. Coach Durgan's done a great job in the city of Lynn. Again, I had the opportunity to be coached by him my senior year. This is my second year coaching against Coach Durgan in the game. But when it comes to the actual the connection between myself and Coach Durgan and obviously the history in the city of Lynn, it goes very, very far. I know Coach Durgan was a very good football player at Lynn Classical. He also coached at Lynn English. And again, I coached here at St. Mary's and now coaching here as a head coach at Tech. It's interesting to see how they all mesh together when you look at the history and the background of the two coaches itself.
To me, the football tradition in Lynn is about intensity. The rivalries between Lynn Classical and Lynn English, St. Mary's and Lynn Tech, like no other. And you know, when you really have to experience it to appreciate it, to me it's like no other rivalry in the state.
Coach, what would you say your players should take from this game?
I mean, one, they should understand that, you know, Lynn is a great place, and we have a lot of traditions, and one of the best is Thanksgiving football. And you know, they should go away from this, you know, playing as hard as they can and understanding that they are part of history. They're a part of something that's really special in Lynn, and you know, they should grow up with memories of it.
I tell our kids that the Thanksgiving Day football game for the rest of their lives will be like a moment frozen in time. Their memories will always drift back to that day in November where they and their teammates squared off for the final time, and they're never going to forget it.
Well, it's kind of bittersweet. It's the last opportunity to be with their friends and the team together playing, the seniors. It's their last time out, and they're to represent their school and their family. And it's, you know, it's a great time, it's a great night, but in the end, it's their last time out.
Well, I think they should definitely take away the camaraderie that comes into it. You see teams coming together during Thanksgiving Day games. With the city of Lynn having 4 high schools, you have a lot of family members who are close to each other. So you see teams like Lynn English and Lynn Classical, they'll come to the St. Mary's and Tech game, and they'll obviously cheer for both sides of the field. Same thing also too when the Lynn Classical English game. You see a lot of the schools working and obviously coming together. So I think the history of Thanksgiving, when it comes down to the rivalry games, you see a lot of people coming back together, especially kids from college. When they've graduated or they have their free time, they come back to City of Lynn, and they want to come obviously and have a good time and see their team or their alma mater win. But at the same time, you see a lot of team unity and a lot of unity within the community itself.
What are you expecting from your opponent?
Well, I mean, they won the league this year, so we expect them to be a pretty good football team. We've seen them on tape. We've seen them throughout the year, and they've got a lot of athletes, and we expect them to give us their best. So
I expect Lynn Classical to be athletic, tough, and they're going to want it.
Well, we'll just start in practice, to be honest with you now, and we'll go about 7 days away. We expect a very good game. Tech's had a nice season at 7-3, and a lot of emotion goes into this game on both sides. So hopefully we can come out on top, and our kids play hard and play well.
Well, me knowing Coach Durgan very well, he sticks to his guns. He knows that his offense is very good. They've had the top offense, or I should say his staff has had the top offense when it comes to the double wing for the last, I think, 9 years, where they've averaged over 30 points a game, and that's been consistent. And me being a person that sees consistency, I think that Coach Durgan is not going to change anything. I think he's going to stick to his guns. I think that he's going to come out, run the ball probably 30, 40 times and expect his tailbacks to get the yards that he needs. But knowing him very well, he's a lineman coach, and I know that his offensive line will be very prepared and very, very well geared up. And being familiar with that and seeing what he did at Classical, seeing what he did at St. Mary's, and being familiar with his style, I know that he will be very, very well ready to go. He'll be geared and ready to go. And I know that that horse is going to be riding it. There's no reason to change up something if it hasn't now broken. So why change something when it isn't broken? Keep it working. So Coach Durgan, good job, and props to you for what you've done with St. Mary's in the high school there. Your offense itself as a system has been going on for a long time. Lynn Classical still runs it. I mean, they changed up a little bit where they had the veer and the option, but at the same time, he left a legacy at that school, and it's continued on to St. Mary's also too.
Coach, could you tell us a little bit about your football philosophy?
Win. No. Well, I think we got to put hard work in. We've got to put effort in, and hopefully get some W's. But overall, the idea is if we do the right things and work hard and dedicate ourselves to this, then it's all worth the while in the end.
My football philosophy is that it's a team game, and that one individual player can't make or break a team, that we all rely on one another, and we tell our kids to play fast, hard, and clean.
My philosophy in football is it's pretty simple, and you play the way you practice, and what you put into it you'll get back. And in the off season it's important, you got to get lifting and running, and then in season you got to play hard, practice hard, and execute.
My football philosophy is very simple. I expect my athletes to be students first. They have to have character second, and then they're an athlete third, because they're student athletes, and I look at it that way. My philosophy itself, I'm a defensive guy. I think offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Whereas our team has worked very hard in the last 2 years to build up our offense and be a force within the state of Massachusetts. But when it comes to me and my game plan and what we prepare, we obviously prepare to have a very strong, united defense, and hopefully that will carry us on to be victorious. Offensively, I love the spread. I'm a big fan of it. I love the zone. But again, I don't mind getting a little tight and running that ball right down the gut, so that's not a problem with me either.
Any words of wisdom for your players before they step out onto the field of battle?
Well, like I said before, don't leave this stadium today, and don't leave anything on the field. Leave it all on the field. Don't leave any of this Don't leave the field today or the stadium with any regrets. And the only way not to have regrets is to leave it all out there.
Well, just play hard. I mean, you got to understand that this is the last high school game you'll ever play, and for the seniors especially. And this is, this is a game where this is their last game as a Lynn Classical Ram, so they've got to go out and play hard.
Just go out, play as hard as you can, and play physical, have fun, and if you can do those things and not turn the ball over, you'll be pretty successful.
My recommendation for all players, not just the Lynn Tech football players, but for every single player that's going to be playing a game on Thanksgiving Eve and also on Thanksgiving Day in the city of Lynn, you're never going to forget it. It's going to be something that sticks with you for the rest of your life. So go hard, play as hard as you can, but at the end of the game, shake hands like men, go home and tell somebody you love them because it is Thanksgiving.
Yes, we've seen all that the Thanksgiving Day football tradition has to offer in Lynn. We spoke with the players and coaches from St. Mary's, Tech, English, and Classical, and I'd say it's safe to assume that these players are very much prepared to battle it out on the gridiron. Not only against their longtime rivals, not only against peers, but members of the community and brethren football players. Yes, it's true, the roots of the football tradition run deep within the soils of Lynn, Massachusetts, and will continue to be that way as long as the players and coaches dedicate themselves alike. I'm Sean Donahue from LynnCAM, wishing you all a happy and safe Thanksgiving.